Happy Juneteenth, homeschoolers. My name is Kendra Price, and I am here with A Heart for Homeschool. And on this Juneteenth, I want to share with you a homeschool resource that will help you to educate your children about Black history. Hi, homeschoolers. Happy Juneteenth. Juneteenth is officially a federal holiday, and today for Juneteenth, I want to share with you a homeschool resource that can help you to educate your children on Black history. So, that resource is Black History 365. It is a comprehensive Black history curriculum that goes from exploring ancient Africa all the way to modern times in America. And it explores Black history in the context of American history. This is a resource that we have been waiting on, something that comprehensively and thoughtfully walks us through Black history and does more than a cursory exploration of subtopics such as ancient Africa and people groups and languages. Um, Going into slavery and different things. And this curriculum comes on the heels of many red states passing legislation to limit or eliminate completely discussions of race and racism in public schools. So, the reason why this curriculum is so wonderful is because it empowers parents and people in the community to educate their children freely about American history and namely Black history. So I want to share with you the Black History 365 ebook. You can also purchase the textbook. And for Juneteenth, Black History 365 is running a deal where when you order the textbook, you get a year-long access to the ebook for free. And so I have the ebook here, and I want to show you just some of the beginning parts of the ebook because it is so engaging. Technology is integrated throughout the curriculum. This curriculum does a wonderful job in it not only engaging your child or your high schooler rather with maps and charts and pictures, but it also allows your child to think critically, to explore difficult topics compassionately, and to be able to dig deeper when it comes to various cultural topics and issues. So let's get to looking at the ebook. So this is the cover, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through the beginning. Notice that this is an inclusive account of American history. So there's no critical race theory discussion in the book, but you as a parent are always free to have that discussion with your child. So this is the cover. And then this book, Black History 365, the authors are Dr. Walter Milton Jr. and Dr. Joel Freeman. So you can see that as we turn the pages here, that there is an extensive board of people, an advisory board. Let me go back. There are a number of contributors to Black History 365. There's a team of people working together, and there is a large advisory board. So the authors of Black History 365 did not do this in a vacuum, but they had a number of people contributing and helping to put together this awesome curriculum. And so, as you can see, the opening lays out the units and the chapter overview. We have a quote here from Maya Angelou. You can't really know where you're going until you know where you've been. And unfortunately, too many of us in this country don't know where we've been because for so many years in the public school system, we've been given a whitewashed or Eurocentric view of history or perspective of history that has diminished or virtually eliminated the experiences of people of color. And so I'm excited because this curriculum seeks to shed light on the contributions of Black Americans. Um, so let's look at the chapter overview. So notice we have an entire unit devoted to ancient Africa, two chapters. The first is a discussion in general of Africa being the cradle of civilization, and then chapter two, which discusses ancient African civilizations. Typically, in public school textbooks, for example, ancient Africa is completely glossed over, or you may have maybe a paragraph discussion. And so this curriculum sets the tone right off the bat in going into much greater detail regarding Africa. And then notice that Unit 2 goes into the transatlantic slave trade. You have Unit 3, the American system, a discussion of enslavement in Chapter 5, the peculiar institution, the Civil War. Then Unit 4 is emancipation and reconstruction. And there are three chapters, right? And then Chapter 10, post reconstruction. And then Unit 5 discusses the Great Migration and its aftermath, and it includes chapters such as the Harlem Renaissance. So, this in itself, a discussion and exploration of the Harlem Renaissance. I'm already thinking that you can incorporate art, poetry, music, all kinds of art forms into the Harlem Renaissance to really make this a standout chapter or unit. And then in Unit 6, there's a discussion of civil rights and American justice. And I'm just giving you just an overview of the different units that are a part of the curriculum. There's a discussion of the economic system and how convict labor um, has been used to help or to progress the country economically. Basically, convict labor being another form of enslavement that sheds light on our current criminal justice system. Here, there's a discussion where students will be able to see the roots of the penal system and some of the issues that have arisen based on the history of the criminal justice system. So, further on, we have Unit 8 that explores Black culture and influence. It talks about the Black church, it talks about Black music explosion and the Black entertainment industry. These are very engaging. There's also a discussion going back up to chapter 24 here, notions of a post-racial society. So you can discuss with your child, are we living in a post-racial society? Why or why not? What evidence can we produce? And so these are really deep discussions that can be explored with this curriculum. Another unit that I'm really interested in and don't know enough about, so I'm really excited, is Unit 10, where it's a discussion of Canada and how Black people, after they escaped slavery, migrated up to Canada and what that experience was like from that point. And so that was just an overview of some of the chapters and some of the units. Um, One of the things here, you have dedication pages. And notice I'm going to discuss this a little later on, but you have integrated technology that integrates video clips and documentaries, pictures, and additional articles that can supplement or corroborate what's being discussed and taught within the curriculum. Okay, and so just to kind of move myself out of the way here, again, you can see these documentaries and these videos that also discuss Nigeria and Kenya and Mandela and whatnot. You can't get this kind of information in any other curriculum. So this is groundbreaking. And here we have, a collage of black contributors and black culture and heritage in picture form. Okay, we have additionally the contents with the units and the chapters laid out again. Okay, and then here I just want to discuss the features of the ebook that I believe really help students to retain what they learn, to record their thoughts, and make this curriculum highly interactive and engaging. So, for example, here, this is a panoramic picture of the satellite images of the world, namely noticing the electrical grid. So notice who has the most access to electricity, America or the United States and Europe versus Africa, the continent of Africa along the coast and whatnot. There's some access, but a large portion of the continent does not have electricity. So I want to just show you right here some of the features on the side that help to really highlight or allow students to make notes. So for example, here I can place a sticky note using the sticky notes button, and I can color code the note. And notice that I just made the notation that Africa hardly has access to electricity as compared to the United States and Europe. And I can save that thought here so that if I want to return to it, let's say I want my child to do a paper or to discuss this in deeper detail or to make a connection, I have a sticky note that they have a sticky note that they can place there to record their thoughts. And so I'm going to go through the tools once we get into the text more. So, the elephant experience. This is one of the features of the curriculum that really sets it apart and helps students or children to think deeper. And it's called the elephant experience. But in this experience, students are asked critical thinking questions. And they explain here why the elephant was chosen as the symbol for the elephant experience. Um, Within the units or within the chapters, you'll also have what's called sidebar chats that will ask questions or say things that causes children to reflect, to think about certain aspects or certain topics that are covered. So moving forward, and I love the layout of the ebook. I also love the illustrations that are just throughout the book and really help with understanding. So let's look at this initial overview of Unit 1, Ancient Africa. So what I love here is that I can use my pen tool here on the left and I can make notations. I can circle, I can do those different things. But notice that there is the Chapter 1 vocabulary words. So if you want your child to record their vocabulary somewhere, say in Quizlet, to be able to recall it or review, you have access to that. I'm going to erase my marking here. Notice also that you have an overview of what are the big ideas that are going to be covered in the unit. So, for example, for Unit 1, the big ideas are that societal structures of ancient Africans allow for high levels of ingenuity, productivity, intellect, innovation, and creativity, and so on and so forth. So laying out these big ideas for children at the beginning of the unit, and I say children, but this curriculum is geared for high schoolers. Um, but anyway, that gives them an idea of what they should be thinking about, what they should be looking forward to as they cover the material. Another thing that I like about the initial overview is the community engagement activity. So this allows your child to be able to discuss with others some things that they um, discover or learn. It helps them to engage outside of the textbook with what they're learning, and that helps them to retain and to internalize what they're learning and see the importance of what they're learning on a larger scale. And then also, I'm going to use the highlighter. There are learning objectives. So the learning objectives are great because, again, these are target. There's a self reflection question. So, for example, here it says identify an emotion you may experience when studying the institution of slavery and its impact on the United States. So, again, all of these things, all of these features, including ACE, activate, connect, and engage, it's meant to get your child thinking. What do I already know? What is my perspective or understanding of what is being covered? And then what do I expect to learn? What do I need to be thinking about? And what language, what vocabulary words do I need to really hone in on while I read that really help to break down or explain what's being covered? So I love the layout of the textbook so far. And as you go further in it, here you have again the opening to chapter 1. You have the vocabulary, you have some beautiful imagery throughout, and there are thousands of pictures and charts and graphs that have been used to really well illustrate and communicate deeper concepts and ideas. And so notice that for Unit 1, here you have again the deeper questions, the essential questions. Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to erase my markings, but I just want to show you how I'm making these marks and these notes and whatnot because I'm trying to illustrate for you that your child, as they go through and read, they can type notes and they can make sticky notes. They can highlight just as they would with a hardcover textbook. Notice the illustrations, right? These are gorgeous, that really bring life to the topic. But here's the thing that I really want to bring your attention to that for me is a feature of this textbook that helps to really um, highlight just how comprehensive this is. So, throughout the text, there's what's called integrated technology. And when you click on the integrated technology buttons, they will sometimes lead to articles, other times they'll lead to video clips and whatnot. My computer is running slow here, but for instance, here we have a video, Why We're Overdue to Know the Brilliance of African Civilizations. Okay, and so not only can your child read about Africa, but there's also out outside sources that helps to really illustrate and to give further information to your child to examine. And then let's click on the integrated technology here, great achievements in science and technology in ancient Africa. So we're gonna, my again, computer's running a little slow. So here they are able to learn about math and astronomy, metallurgy, and architecture in terms of ancient African civilizations. And that's important because typically that was not discussed at all in public school curriculums. And additionally, it's important because it shows that ancient Africans contributed to the world and to the overall civilization in major ways that have previously gone unobserved or uncredited or unnoticed. And so I love this also because as a chemist, it also is not just about history, it's also about integrating other topics and other areas in as well to make a more rich and a more complex or comprehensive view of history. So, again, this integrated technology is throughout. You have beautiful pictures throughout. And then notice the chapter check in here. How do language and communication affect culture? So, a lot of times our kids will read things and it's just reading for the sake of reading. But throughout this text, there are questions that are asked about their reading that help them to really think about and digest, okay, why is this important? Why is this significant? How does this give me overall understanding of language and communication and its effect or impact on culture? So this helps our kids to see the relevance of what they're learning. And notice, I am still in Unit 1. I'm still in a discussion of Africa. There's still integrated technology buttons to click. Um, it's just so far the list. There's discussion of the official and spoken languages of African countries. So these are things about ancient Africa that have never really been covered truly in history curriculums. But Black History 365 does a thorough and a wonderful job of doing that. Ancient Africa discussion is at least 100 pages long or more, and that is unprecedented. And then there's a discussion, for example, here of culture and the impact of culture. And there are discussion suggestions. So for Juneteenth, we have a gift here with Black History 365. We have a comprehensive curriculum that can guide our students, our children, to learn about their history and their culture and their significance. And why is this important? Well, because it gives a different perspective to the world and to your child about Black people. It counteracts some of the stereotypes we've always heard about certain topics or certain areas, and it gives them a sense of self-esteem, and it shows them that they can do anything they want, that those that came before overcame great obstacles and were able to achieve great things, and so are they. So I am highly recommending Black History 365 as a wonderful curriculum. It's affordable. It is something that your child can study. You don't have to stand right over them. There's integrated technology and questions throughout to help guide them. But from that, there can be greater discussions between your child and yourself and interaction between themselves and the community with this. And this empowers parents and it empowers the community. Black History 365 has been adopted by some public school districts, and so that's important as well. And so if you have a public school child, you should really push to have your district adopt Black History 365. And if you're a homeschooler, you should feel empowered that you can educate your child on American history and Black history, namely, and Black contributions to American history freely. Here's the other thing I love about the Black History 365 curriculum. It's not just a textbook or an ebook, but there's a Black History album. So that album features 40 different songs, one for each chapter of the book. I want to say it's either 40 or 42, but either way, so for children who love music and whatnot, there's an album with this. There's T-shirts with it. There's just a lot that has gone into this. And for those who want to talk about how can we integrate this into our community, rather than depending on the public school system, Black History 365 has what is called the Solutionist Academy. And that is a program, an after school or Saturday program, where you can integrate this within the community, bringing students in from the community to learn their history. So, this is groundbreaking and important, especially for those who feel like maybe you're living in a red state like I am, that you don't have to worry about legislation that says, oh, there's not going to be any discussion of race or racism and continuing to diminish or virtually eliminate discussions, accurate discussions of history. We can now do that ourselves with this curriculum, and we can also do this within our community. So I hope that you go now to Black History 365, to their website, and order this awesome curriculum. Additionally, I'm going to leave links below to my review where I go more in depth about the features and the distinctives of Black History 365, as well as giving you links to the Black History 365 website. Right now, I want to give a special shout out to Tfields, who helped me to get an advanced preview of the Black History 365 curriculum. He is a sales rep and he can help you in ordering the curriculum, in getting a preview of the curriculum prior to purchase. I will leave his information in the description box below. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to be notified of future videos. Also, don't forget to check out my website, www.aheartforhomeschool.com.